Welcome to Ask the Expert, a webinar series brought to you by the Children's Tumor Foundation. CTF's mission is to drive research, expand knowledge, and advance care for the NF community. This new series is helping us pursue that mission by expanding knowledge about NF. Every month, we will invite experts to speak to a variety of topics relevant to living with NF, and those videos will be made available to you here on our website. What's even more exciting is that for 2 weeks after a video is posted, you can submit questions to that expert that will later be shared and answered on our site. This project will be hosted by me, Kate Keltz. I'm a registered nurse with nearly a decade of NF experience. I've been with the Foundation since 2014, and I am excited to bring this opportunity to our amazing NF community. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the NF Registry. Maybe you've heard of it, and probably you have questions about it. So today, we will try to answer those questions. Let's get started. First, let's cover the basics. Who, what, and why. So what is the registry? The registry is a voluntary online database that individuals with neurofibromatosis can join. Minors with NF can be registered by a legal guardian. The registry is an effort by the Children's Tumor Foundation to advance NF research. Who can enroll? Anyone with a diagnosis of neurofibromatosis type 1, type 2, or schwannomatosis. Also, anyone with a suspected diagnosis that is not yet confirmed can join. But why should you? The registry can keep you informed about clinical trials, provide facts and figures about the NF community, show scientists and physicians how NF changes over a lifetime, and help researchers understand how NF looks different for each person. The bottom line is that the more and more we are realizing that diseases are not one thing, but they are clusters of symptoms that are different for everybody. For example, in NF, some people deal mainly with bone problems, others with tumors, others mainly with numerous fibromas on their skin. And of course, there are all the possible combinations of these. Because of the different subpopulations within NF, we need to register as many people as possible. We estimate 10,000 at least to cover these groups, which may all need different treatments. Many of the most life-changing therapies we have now have come about because of the power of patient registries. So how do you join? You visit nfregistry.org. There'll be a 2-minute video that you can watch, which will help to explain why we started this project. And then you click the blue button that says click here to register now. You'll complete some demographic information, which is just basic things about your gender and your age and your birthday and things of that nature. And then once your account is created, you'll be given a questionnaire based on your confirmed diagnosis. These questionnaires are different for each of the types of NF, and so you'll need to confirm your type of NF before you can complete one of these questionnaires. This may take a little time as you report information relevant to your health related to NF, but they are not terribly time-consuming. Then you'll visit about once a year, or if any major changes in your health related to NF occur, to update your profile. So let's talk about a few frequently asked questions. These are things that we've noticed are barriers that create confusion or prevent people from joining the registry. So, the how-to questions. How often do I update my profile? You'll do this annually or whenever there are changes in your health. Do you need a confirmed diagnosis to register? No. You can create an account with an unconfirmed diagnosis, but we do ask that once it is confirmed or ruled out to update your account. If parent and child both have NF, do they need separate accounts? Absolutely. Once you as the adult create your account, there'll be an option to add family members. Once you've selected this in the system, it will take you through a step-by-step process to set up a linked account. From that point on, you'll be able to make changes to your child's account from your own screen. How do I find a lost password or username? Under the login on the registry website is the option to click Forgot Username or Password. Click there to be set up with new information. What information is available to you through the registry? We provide information on open clinical trials, which is actually available whether you have an account or not, the numbers of current registrants, and your own health information. Let's talk a little bit about privacy. So the registry is a research study, and this means that it is subject to HIPAA as well as international guidelines for information security. Only the Children's Tumor Foundation has access to your information, and it is used exclusively for research purposes. If at any point your information were compromised, the registry would not be able to continue. We take these guidelines extremely seriously, and your information is always protected. When information is gathered for research purposes, it is what we call de-identified. This means that your name and other identifying data, like your birthday, are not shared. So when a researcher is wanting to access de-identified data, they still need to be approved by the Registry Data Usage Committee, which is subject to CTF. When a researcher is given that permission, then the registry itself will send out an invitation via email to the population the study is interested in. For example, adults with NF1 and an inoperable plexiform neurofibroma. Until you respond to that initial request, your identity stays protected. It is always up to the individual to decide to contact the researcher. When you join the registry, you can opt in or out of being contacted about clinical trials for which you may be eligible. This means that from the start, if you know that you are not interested in research studies or participating in one, you can choose the opt-out button, and then you will at no point be contacted about any kind of a trial or study as a member of the registry. If you opt in, you are still in no way obligated to participate in any trial about which you may receive an email. It is entirely optional and always up to the individual. The registry also includes information about currently recruiting clinical trials. This information is available whether you have an account or not. You can read through these by clicking on the tab Clinical Trials, and we'll talk in a little bit about navigating the registry website. The registry itself is not set up to automatically contact you regarding clinical trials. I get this question a lot. The registry does not have an algorithm or some kind of a programming set up where, because you click a box that says you have a plexiform, for example, that you will automatically be updated about any kind of a trial related to plexiforms. That is not how it works. Individual researchers get specific permission from CTF to contact registrants about clinical trials for which they may be eligible. But again, that is done in a protected way so that until you respond to that email, your information is still private. The registry has been used so far to do some really good things. For example, we've recruited patients for 18 clinical trials and research studies as of 2016, and it has also been used to determine patient needs, record their experiences with different treatments, and study how NF symptoms may change over time. So, navigating the website. At the top of the main page on the website, you will see several tabs that may be useful. We have the FAQ, frequently asked questions, which will answer common questions and also provide a glossary of terms, not just about the registry, but about research studies in general. We also have the clinical trials tab, which will tell you about currently recruiting clinical trials, as well as, again, some definitions and understanding more about clinical trials. It also discusses there's a tab for privacy, and this will explain to you in further detail exactly how your information is kept private. And also a tab for researchers, which is an explanation for how a scientist could use the registry. Promoting the registry. The registry is very exciting, and we want to promote it. We have a wonderful base of volunteers working all over the country, and we want our volunteers to promote it as well. But there are some things we need to remember. This is a voluntary research study. It is imperative that no one ever feel pressured or coerced into joining the registry. If this were to be the case, it could put the entire study at risk of being shut down. Also, you cannot ever set up someone's account for them. They must be able to do it themselves or with the help of their own legal guardian. So, hopefully, today I was able to answer some questions that you may have had. If you are asked a question at an event, a walk, a gala, a fundraiser of some kind, someone asks you a question about the registry that you don't think you can answer, please direct them to me. My email is on the screen. I am always happy to answer questions. That is why I am here. Hopefully today you feel a little more informed and more prepared to discuss the registry and to help get others excited about the power of the registry, because together we can end NF. Thank you.